What's up, everyone? I wanted to give a quick update today on some of the things that we're working on, some of the objectives our developers have, and some use cases that we've seen from a couple of our clients. And really what I want to focus on today is the transaction management side. And it's not really transaction management, more it's just keeping reports and a list of all of your closed transactions. You have systems like Dotloop or other dedicated transaction management systems that actually manage the paperwork of it, right? And what I'm talking about is this screen that you're seeing right now, which is a way to keep track of all that data and pull it in from other systems, or just have your transaction managers or transaction coordinators keep this all up to date in here. And what one of our clients is actually doing, she has a transaction management company. So she does contracted out transaction management. And she is buying Sisu for all of her clients that use her transaction management service solely for the purpose of her being able to enter this data instead of entering it into a spreadsheet and giving them a report of what their closed deals are, dates on those, commission amounts. Instead, they're going to keep it in here. And the benefit of that is that all the reports are automatically built in. So you won't have to pull your own Excel reports. You can just edit it all right from here, and then pull up, and I'll get into this later, but what are some of the reports that you can pull on this? And if you're worried about having accurate data in here, instead of, most teams are doing that. They have a Google sheet or an Excel sheet with their closed deals and the important data on those just for reporting purposes. Instead of doing that, if you just manage that inside of Sisu, you're going to have some really cool reports and some really cool ways that you can gamify that data and create a cool culture on your team and understand your business even better. So this is actually a look at a new transaction sheet that we're working on. This should be released soon. So it's going to give you some options as far as, sorting by type, searching and all of that. It looks pretty similar right now, and we're still building that. So I would love to hear some feedback from any of you as far as that goes. But kind of the same thing is what we got going on right now. You have all your deals in here. You could search right here to find the deal that you're looking for, and you can sort by pipeline stage up here. You can also choose to sort by any of these fields right here. So if I click on one, it's going to pull those to the top, right? And so basically line by line, you're just managing your transactions in here. And, so if I come into one of these, and what a lot of teams are doing is they're saying as soon as the loop closes in Dotloop or it finishes up in the transaction management system, however you're managing the paperwork, have your transaction coordinators, instead of putting it into an Excel sheet somewhere to keep track of closed deals, come in here and make sure that this data is accurate. And the most important things to focus on are make sure that transaction amount is correct. The reason listing amount is in here is if you want to track the difference between what it was listed for and what it actually sold for. I wouldn't worry too much about keeping that up to date. You can if you want, certainly good, always good to have more data in here. But I would focus on transaction amount, GCI, so what were the total commissions created from that deal, and then paid income. What did you pay your agents? Finally, the last thing I would focus on is lead source here. So if you have those, you're going to pull some really cool reports over here, and I'll show you that in just a sec. So once again, transaction amount, the GCI, the paid income, and the lead source. Deal closes in transaction management, Dotloop, whatever you're using for that, instead of doing the spreadsheet, just throw it right in here and you're going to have all the reports built into that. And then just go ahead and hit update once you're done. You'll make sure it's assigned to the right agent and everything. You can throw in title company, escrow company, mortgage company. That's a good idea because we're continuing to do more reports on that. You'll notice one last thing before I show you those reports. There's a lock function over here for the admin. So a lot of times you don't want your agents changing that data after it's already been edited or after the transaction coordinator has already put it in there and made sure that it's correct. So you can go ahead and lock it. Your agents will still see it in their phone or if they go to the My Transactions tab, but they won't be able to edit those dates that your transaction coordinator has already firmed up, right? So imagine that's all you're doing. And then once again, transaction management company is buying this for their clients so that they can just manage this and have the reports. You don't even need to have your agents tracking their data. You can just keep your closed deals in here, and you're going to get awesome reports on that. Now, obviously, better if you can have them keep all their accountability and other things. But if you're worried about getting buy-in, or you're worried about having accurate data, but you still want reporting and you still want some of the features of Sisu, if you're just doing this, you're going to have awesome reports. So let's hop into those. Let's take a look at the lead sources report first. And this is going to show you all of your closed deals. What lead source did they come from? If you're tracking like the under contract dates, the sign dates, the appointments, it'll give you a breakdown of, how far have those leads progressed and what lead source did they come from. But even cooler is breaking this down by agent. So, come in, look at your agents and see, this agent did 26.5% of your volume, 30% of your transaction count. And this is a breakdown of what each of those leads were. So you can see how that agent is working, where they're bringing in most of their business, compare it to like what you're spending on that, or how much, if you come into the personal dashboard, you can see those activities and compare like, okay, they're spending this much time on door knocking and this many leads have come from that activity, or this much time on SOI prospecting, and you'll see how much volume has been generated from that. So, you can sort this by date as well. So you can break it down and slice it however you want. And each agent, you're seeing what percent of their volume, what percent of your units, and what lead sources are they working with. So really cool way to break it down and work with your agents and understand how and where they're getting their business from. You can come into the team income report here. So this is a pretty cool report where you're seeing, this is how many units we did. This is the transaction amount. So the volume, units, volume. This is how much income was generated. So gross commission income. This is what you paid your agents, and this is what the team stayed with. So once again, this is just being pulled from your GCI and your paid income and the transaction amount. If that's all you have in the system and the close date, then it'll be able to pull that for each month or each year, or however you want to slice it, in a way that's pretty visually appealing. And you break that down by line item, sort by date. Another report is the, let's look at this agent team production. So once again, just breaking down per agent, this is how many closed units they have. This is their volume, their GCI. This is the percentage of total units, percentage of total volume, and percentage of GCI, right? So lots of different ways you could slice this and look at it. I should mention on the team income report, you can see the agent splits per deal. And this is just calculated. Instead of entering in a percentage, you're just entering in what did you actually pay that agent and what was the gross commission, and it's just calculating it for you. So last report here, this one's been around for a while, but still important to go over and look at, especially in coaching. This has become the basis for coaching for a lot of teams when they do their one-on-ones, is coming in here and saying, let's coach this agent in November and see what they got going on, or see what they did in October if you want to break it down by a different month. And you're seeing, this is who's in my pipeline. Make sure you're looking at those dates, because they might have a bunch of stale leads in here, and then you already know that they're not prospecting, or that they need to somehow generate some new leads, right? And you can get a better breakdown of that by looking at pipeline added. So you'll see this agent has a bunch of leads in their pipeline, and yeah, if they were to close all those, it would be like an estimated $77,000 in commissions. But what if they added this month? Make sure you're adding in some fresh leads in there that are probably hotter and probably more ready to buy if they're being added into the system, right? It's probably because the agent went on an appointment with them, or they put them under contract, or signed a buyer broker, whatever it is. Those are the kind of reasons that you want to be tracking people in Sisu. Once they become a hot lead is what we normally say. Seeing the value of those buying and listing agreements. So I can break these down and say, okay, what's going on with this client? How are you getting, are you getting them under contract? Are you showing them, whatever, or, looking at the pipeline and saying, how are you going to get these people to sign a buyer broker listing agreement with you? And then going down, this is the value of your under contract. This is what you closed this month, and this is what you got pending. So really cool way to slice the data, break it down. And these are all reports and things that you can look at just from keeping your closed transactions in that transaction sheet instead of on a spreadsheet. And then you could still get some of the gamification side as well. So if you come into, sorry, I should go to leaderboards. You could do a closed units leaderboard and display that, right as your agents walk into the office so that they're seeing that, that competitive side, and it starts to gamify and create a really cool culture at your office and on your team. And then maybe even building some challenges based off of volume or units, whatever you're looking to do. There's a lot of cool things you can do just by having that closed units data in the system. So thanks for watching. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We're continuing to build out those reports, continuing to build out the functionality of that transaction sheet like I showed you. It's going to be really easy to use. Start thinking about how you're going to pull data in here if you want to. So lots of CRMs will have a Zapier integration, and you can pull it right from the CRM. Like we've done it with Follow Up Boss, some Sync, different CRMs. Boomtown announced a Zapier the other day, so you'll be able to pull data in from Boomtown. Keep your eyes on that, and always be thinking how you can, pull in more data, report on it, gamify it from inside Sisu. Okay, thanks. We'll talk soon. Bye.